Got no hat. Are you kidding me? I'm sad to report that we have had a death in the RATTLECAN family. Stand by. Hey everybody, welcome back to RATTLECAN Guitar Restorations. I am James, and as I alluded to in the intro, we have had something die, and that is my ToneWorks AX3000B modeling signal processor. It's a multi-effects based pedal board. I've had it, I don't know, 12 years, something like that. It's been around the world, and I have had an issue off and on with this particular potentiometer. It would on occasion just run away. And what I mean is if I had this set at the 9 o'clock position, then it would, for no reason that I could replicate, it would just ramp all the way up to 10, which, as you can imagine, is somewhat problematic in any number of instances. I've had the thing all apart. I've cleaned it. I've done what, I've deoxed it. I've done, what, your prudent course of action would be on something like that. And if I remember right, it is a surface-mounted device, so I would have to replace that pot on the board, which we could have done, but the last time I got this out to practice with it, plugged it in. You may not know that there's a small container filled with magic smoke inside of these, and if that container lets the smoke out, it's usually all done for. And so that is what happened. It has gone the way of the dodo bird, and it is no more. So I was having to look for a replacement, and what I wanted was something small. I wanted something that was easy to transport, and I wanted something that would have a tuner. It would, act like a preamp, shape my tone type of stuff. It didn't need all of these bells and whistles that I had, and so this is what I came up with. The name Tech 21 you may be familiar with. They have for a number of years produced a line of preamps called the Sans amp, and it gives you all of the tone shaping capabilities that you would have in your amp head without the power section. And a number of facilities that I have played at throughout the years have had different iterations of the Sans amp preamp to use, and they have just recently come out with the bass fly rig version 2. Now, a fly rig is something, it's very small. It is, it's this big. I can stretch my fingers out wider than this unit is. And they're small, they're compact, they're filled with all kinds of features. A number of these are their signature models. I'm not really familiar with the guitar models. I know that there is a Doug Pinnick version. He's got a Tech 21 fly rig pedal. If you don't know, Doug Pinnick plays with King's X. If you don't know who King's X is, I don't know. Educate yourself. Steve Harris of Iron Maiden has a pedal as well. Geddy Lee has a pedal as well. So I bit, and this one was an open box, and I got it it was listed at $2.99. I got it for 25 bucks off. They said the box was damaged. I'm not too concerned about boxes. So I was expecting all sorts of hideousness when I got this. And what I got was a box that was bent a little bit. I can live with a bent box for 25 bucks. So what do we get inside of it? We get the base Fly Rig 2 owner's manual. We get a zap. We get a warranty registration card. We get a power supply, and when you pull the power supply out, it has this kind of funky faceplate on it because it has a number of different voltage adapters. So it's got this funky angled plug one. It's got the UK Uber heavy plug one. It's got the little EU dual prong one because, let me use my old man eyes here, my understanding is that they have had this power supply made for them. It's 100 to 240 volts. It will do 50 or 60 cycle. And it's a 1/4 amp, and it outputs 9.6 volts at 0.3 amps. It has something I was quite surprised to find. It has a cloth covered cable, and it has a fairly long cloth covered cable with a ferrite slug on the end of it. So in theory, it should harsh the buzz, as it were, to make it a little less noisy. And then, believe it or not, this is the unit. That's all the bigger it is. And we are talking 11.5 inches long, 2 inches tall, and we are 1/2 an inch tall, maybe 5/8 of an inch tall, but that's it. It's a compact little thing. You can just slide this in your bag and be gone. So what do we have? Well, let's look here. We'll look here on the back first. You got your input, and then something that has changed between the Fly Rig 1 and the Fly Rig 2 is this has an effects loop into it. It has a send and a return. You also have a 1/4 inch output. This is your DC input. And then you have your DI, your regular 3-pin XLR on the side. You can run the XLR and the 1/4 inch at the same time. You can send it to the front of house and have them do whatever it is that they're going to do to put you in the front of house. And then what I have done is when I play with an amp on stage, which isn't very often, I will actually run my effects loop out, and I will run that into the effects input onto my amp, and that way I'm just amplifying the signal. I'm not actually using the tone shaping on my amp because I'm doing all my tone shaping here. So, and what do we have across the front? We have got, from left to right, we have a chorus and a tuner. And like a lot of these multi-effects, if you hold this button down, it will automatically switch to a tuner. The tuner is really easy to see, even for old man eyes like me. And the chorus is a 1-knob chorus. Your next button is an octafilter, which gives you an octave divider, as well as some fuzz on there, if that's the kind of thing you want. The Sans amp, it has 2 Sans amp channels, and you will dial in your high, mid, and your low, and the difference between channel 1 and channel 2 is you are selecting the drive and the level and switching between those two. Your tone stays the same, so you can use it as a boost, or if you want a clean signal and one that's got a little fuzz on it, you can do that. Or you can have a little fuzz on it, and then you can set it up to a Face Melter 4000 if you want to. And then it also has a 2-button compressor. The switches are nice and quiet. There's none of this super loud clicking, this audible clicking you get from a lot of pedals. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's not difficult to engage them as some of them are. And then we've got a series of buttons on the bottom. We have a ground button for your XLR in case you've got some sort of a ground loop going on. You can try to modify that. This speaker is set to replicate what you get when you're actually playing through a cabinet with speakers. You can set your octave on or your fuzz on, or both of them to be engaged by the octafilter. There are a couple of tone shaping switches. There's one called byte and there's one called character. And then you also have a pad, a minus 20 dB pad. If you're playing something that's got active electronics in it, a lot of times those will just overwhelm some signal processors, and so you can engage that and that'll cut you down. You could also just turn the knob down, but some people are not so much into that. My kit came with a couple of value-added bonuses. It came with a couple of these. Who makes these? HOSA. Comes with a couple of HOSA effects connectors, and they're nice and narrow, so they won't take up a whole lot of space if you are daisy chaining stuff back and forth. And it also came with a HOSA instrument cable. I've never had HOSA cables as instrument cables. I've always seen them on sound reinforcement stuff. The splitter cables that we use, the effects send and return cables that we use for mixing boards and stuff like that. That's where I've always seen HOSA stuff. So it was nice to see a name that that I kind of recognized. But enough of what we see when we unbox this. Let's switch locations, and we're going to climb down into the subterranean headquarters. And we'll start listening to what this actually sounds like. Sitting at the desk, here's my signal chain, Tokai hard puncher. Serial number dates this as a 1981. This is the 40,000 yen model, the basic model. I have replaced the pickups with an EMG Geezer Butler set of P-Bass passive pickups. We're running that into the SansAmp unit. XLR out into a Behringer Xenix, what is that, a Q802 USB with a flat EQ curve, which is going into the Focusrite, utilizing the instrument setting, not utilizing the air setting. And we are just on the edge of clipping. If I really dig into it, we can overload it. In fact, we'll pull that down just a smidge, maybe a skosh. That is going into Adobe Audition, which is then being screen captured by OBS Studio. That's how all of this stuff is coming together. So what I currently have is the that is nothing. Turning the SansAmp channel on. I have my EQ set at 12 o'clock, high, mid, low. It is counterintuitive unless you're a GK player, because that's kind of the way they've got their stuff stacked up too. and it doesn't take a lot. The only thing, I got my speaker emulator enabled, and there are a couple of EQ shaping buttons. One is called Byte, the other one is called Character. I have lovingly referred to mine as Charisma. Let's take that one off. Let's put the Byte on. And then if we get them both, you know, not too shabby. That's kind of a not bad sound right there, you know, for a guy like me. Then if you want to, just for fun, because it's all fun, we got a one knob chorus here. Minus the warbly stuff when you start turning it up. It's just so much fun to have here. The version 2, you have 2 channels. So I can set this as my primary, you know. And then if I want to, I can set my second channel up to have a little bit of the fuzzy on the stuff. So there's your 2 channels that you can and what I want you to notice is that if you're looking at my VU meter, my levels meter, I'm not clipping this. This is coming out of the unit fuzzy. So you're controlling that. That's your 2 channels, your channel 1, your channel 2, your Byte, the Charisma switch. You've got a 2 knob compressor here with level and the amount of compression on it. sustain for days. We've also got a couple of other little fun functions. We've talked about the chorus. If you want to engage the tuner, you just hold the chorus button down. It's going to enable your display. Let's detune it so we can watch it a little bit. Slow blinking means we're far away. The closer we get to it, the faster we blink. Now, here's something you want to be aware of. If you're playing something that you're using a compressor, if you go to tune, do your tuning, when you step on this to go back, it will disable your chorus. So you will have to remember to re-engage that. Let's hold it down. Let's go to tuner. Do we hold it down? See, it just wants to kick us back into tuner. So that's just something you're gonna have to be aware of. Now, we've also got what's called an octafilter. You have an octave divider, and then you also have a fuzz function to it. And when you activate that, you've got three controls. You've got a mix, which is going to give you, it's gonna do what it tells you to do. You got a dry signal, and you've got a wet signal, or a signal with the effect on it, and this is going to mix that. It's going to blend that, you know, a little bit or a whole lot. You have a range button, and then Q is just, it just stands for change. So if we just turn the octave divider on, you can also combine that with the fuzz. Now, this takes some getting used to. I would highly suggest you go to the Tech 21 YouTube channel. There is a video with the owner of the company, the chief designer, and where he discusses the kind of peculiar, the specialness of this. It works better higher on the board. Just because this is a mathematical function is what's going on here, and if you give it good data, then it can give you a good result. If you are starting to give it something fuzzy like down here, you can have issues. It does single notes better than it does chords. So, you know, there's that. There are also, if you go to the Tech 21 website, they're also going to give you some different recipes for different sounds. You know, it's also in the manual. Knock yourself out. Find what it is, you know, that you like. And, you know, I'm kind of happy right in here, to be honest with you. Play with it. It's fun. It's easy to carry around. There's not much to, you know, to get it set up. I take a picture of once I get this kind of set the place to where I want it. Oh, let's go way down here. Take a picture of it because no one goes anywhere without their camera anymore, without their phone anymore, and it's easy enough just to take a picture. Then you don't have to worry about gumming it up by taping it or marking it up with, you know, Sharpies or, you know, gold markers or that kind of stuff. I'm very happy with it. I'm sad that my big old Korg unit took a dump and died, but I am very happy with this. So I'm James, this is RATTLECAN Guitar Restorations, and that is the Tech 21 bass fly rig version DOS. You guys have a great weekend. Get out there and play. Doesn't matter where it is, get out there and play. Cheers.
Hey, if you like this episode of RATTLECAN Guitar Restorations, you might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers.